So you're bored of Minecraft. These things do occasionally happen. Motivation comes in ebbs and flows, and sometimes it goes right the way down to zero. But that doesn't necessarily mean we need to hang up the diamond boots and never play the game again. There are plenty of different techniques that we can use to get back into the swing of things. I have no idea where I was walking there. Now there is something that I want to mention before this video begins. I have done a video touching on this topic a few years in the past, but I don't feel like I did it that well, so I thought I'd return to it in 2023. Why am I in a boat now? Where am I going? Tip number 1. Just sit down at your desk and actually open Minecraft. Sometimes opening the game is the hardest step. Once you're actually playing, it's fine. I mean, this is a bit of a strange setup. I don't know if I'd play much Minecraft if my desk setup was like this. This is not an ergonomic chair. The monitor's down at my knees. But it's hard not to play Minecraft if Minecraft is open on your computer, so get it open. Next tip, and this carries over from the previous version of this video, do not cheat. I would say this is the golden rule of Minecraft longevity, because as soon as you cheat, you remove all of the stakes from your game. There's no motivation to do anything if you can just spawn it all in. So don't spawn it all in. Enjoy the process for having to work for it. This one's an important one. Write the story you want your Minecraft world to tell, because as soon as you do that, each decision you make and each build you create will have motivation. And motivation for your actions is one of the most important things to keeping the game interesting. It doesn't have to be much. Maybe a couple of paragraphs, a page or two, but it has to be enough that you can really get your teeth into it. Because when you think about it, outside of your initial starter base, everything else that you do in Minecraft is sort of pointless. Which brings me on to my next tip. To a certain extent, you should ignore the linear progression of the game. If you're not a player that enjoys beating the Ender Dragon and taking on fortresses, then you don't have to do that. If all you want to do is build a medieval fishing village, you can just ignore those other aspects of the game and just focus on that. I guess what I'm trying to say is, know what sort of player you are, whether you're a redstoner or a builder or a farmer or one of the many other types of Minecraft player. There's no point in pushing yourself into a situation that you don't actually enjoy. With that being said, sometimes one can sit within their comfort zone a little bit too much, and occasionally it's good to just slightly nudge yourself outside of it. Not massively. I'm not saying that someone who enjoys building technical farms should just start speedrunning, but maybe try decorating them a little bit. Maybe someone who only focuses on builds might be interested in just adding a little bit of redstone action into the mix. It's just a way of getting a fresh perspective on the game. And another way to get a fresh perspective is to watch YouTube videos. There are a ton of fantastic creators on this platform, all creating amazing Minecraft videos. With that being said, you have to remember that comparison is the thief of joy. A lot of these YouTube content creators play Minecraft as their full-time job. Okay, they're playing it far more hours a week than is sustainable for the average human being. Trust me, I know. So although it may be tempting to watch all of these YouTube videos and then go into your Minecraft world and want to construct something of similar scale, maybe just keep in mind the scope of your project, because otherwise you're at severe risk of burning yourself out. One thing that I've started trying recently is taking the mega project idea that I have in my head and shrinking it down to its smallest feasible scale and making it as dense with detail as it possibly can be. Just to be clear, I'm not saying that you should make it this small. Let's say you have a base idea that's 100 by 100 by 100 in size. Maybe think about making it 30 by 30 by 30, but making it considerably more alive. Because a base that feels alive is much more interesting than a mega base that feels dead. Another thing that helps with big builds is to chunk the building process. Don't take on the full project all at once, because once again, you might burn yourself out. Instead, focus on building up specific areas one at a time, so you can complete a project and move on to the next one. That way it feels like a lot more progress is being made. And it's always good to remember that just because your mega base might be completed, maybe you finished the project that you had in mind, there's always extra things that you can add. Little details that you can throw into the mix to make the build feel a little bit more alive. Whether it's automated lighting systems that switch on when you come into the room, or maybe some particle effects in your storage system, or a fully functional flushing toilet. The list is endless. So now let's talk about inspiration. We've already spoken about inspiration from YouTube or online sources. What about getting inspiration from real life? I'm actually currently recording this video in Scotland. I'm in the mountains, and I've already seen a ton of things that I find incredibly inspiring, and potentially things that I'd like to replicate in a base in Minecraft. And this is something that I've done in the past. For example, Hermitcraft Season 8, my giant armchair, was inspired by something I saw in the Philippines. So let's move on to the next step of inspiration, and that is creating a mood board. Now, if you've gone out into real life and you've taken some pictures, perfect opportunity to throw them in here. If you haven't, you can grab them from films or comic books or artworks that you personally really like. If you've written a story about what you want your Minecraft world to be, make sure they match up in terms of theme and vibe. And then you can use this as sort of your master document for how your Minecraft world is going to proceed. Now, once your magnum opus has been created, you should absolutely find some way to share it, be it in the form of a YouTube video, or a Twitter post, or a blog, or on Instagram, or on Reddit. There's hundreds of different areas that you can post your work. And for me, this is the key. It's finding what Minecraft means to you. And what it means for me is sharing the things that I create. I really enjoy the process of creating Minecraft builds and showing others what I've created using my slightly odd set of skills. But for you, it might be something totally different. Maybe you want to be the most feared person on a PvP server, or perhaps you just enjoy the low-grade meditation that comes with endless resource gathering. Reminding yourself of what Minecraft means to you is a good way to stay motivated to keep playing. And yes, I am aware it does sound like I'm trying to start a new world religion. And for my first commandment, you shall not kill anything. Not even the bad things like zombies and skeletons and creepers and stuff. This is something that I played around with in Hermitcraft Season 8, and it was a ton of fun. But you absolutely don't have to do that if it doesn't work for you. Playing around with self-imposed limitations, however, can definitely freshen up the Minecraft gaming experience. Which brings me nicely onto my next point. Making the game easier in some ways that works for you also is potentially a good idea. Like I mentioned earlier, not everyone enjoys the linear progression of Minecraft. For some people, that just isn't that fun. I personally don't want to fight the Ender Dragon, so if I could add in a crafting recipe that allows me to get an Elytra without going through all that boring stuff, that will make the game more enjoyable for me. Other good examples are keep inventory or craftable shulker boxes, the list goes on. Just make sure you don't go too far to the point where it feels like you're cheating. Now this one's a bit rogue, but bear with me. Make a copy of your world and just blow it up. I mean, it will only last a couple minutes, but you've opened Minecraft, you've played the game, and you've done something that was visually pleasing. Just make sure you double and triple check that you are actually exploding your copy. I don't want to be responsible for any missing builds. Once you've done that, maybe try this. Load up the regular version of your Minecraft world and just go for an explore. Pack a very small amount of resources and wander off into the distance to see what your Minecraft world has to offer. And if you find a good space, then maybe consider packing a slightly more substantial set of resources and building a new base in one of the beautiful areas that you found. This isn't quite as extreme as starting a new Minecraft world, but it gives you a way to experiment with new styles in a completely new area. And of course, the next logical progression is find a cool way to connect up your two bases. I mean, how cool is that? You now have these two population centers in your Minecraft world, and you have to find some way to link them up. It's an interesting project waiting to happen, but if that still doesn't tickle your fancy, then of course there is the nuclear option. Just completely start afresh, a brand new Minecraft world. But just remember, do not delete your old worlds. I still feel significant pain that the worlds that I created when I first started playing Minecraft have been lost. Completely erased. Now, if starting a new world seems too big of a commitment, then maybe still start a new world, but give yourself a time limit of, say, 100 Minecraft days, or 1 week in the real world. This time constraint will take the pressure off a little bit, and also it will force you to play in a slightly different style. And who knows, at the end of the time limit, you might end up continuing on. But what if a survival world is just a bit too daunting? Then you should absolutely make a new Minecraft world, but play in creative mode. This allows you to play around with all sorts of different styles, and maybe try out things that you would be too scared to do in survival mode without the burden of gathering resources. For me, this is one of the best strategies to get your motivation back for playing Minecraft. And another tip that's useful is to play with your friends. If you're playing on a multiplayer server and everyone's progressing together, it really is fun to log into the Minecraft world and just see what everyone is up to. It is a double-edged sword though, because if you're struggling with motivation and you see everyone progressing around you, you feel like you're falling behind, then you might end up in a comparison is the thief of joy sort of situation. But for the most part, playing with your friends is the best thing ever. Some of my fondest Minecraft memories are enjoyed with my buddies. But if you don't have friends that play Minecraft, then a good alternative is to download one of the many hundreds of thousands of already existing Minecraft worlds out there and just nestle yourself in. Become a member of the Hermitcraft server, build yourself a base. And if that doesn't work, then it's time for a complete Hail Mary. You know, we said earlier on about slightly pushing yourself out of your comfort zone? Well, just send it. Just launch yourself out of your comfort zone. If you are a redstone engineer, try your hand at being a PvP star. As you can tell, I haven't actually tried this step yet because I just referred to people who play PvP as PvP stars, but you get the picture. Sometimes a complete shake-up is what's required. And another way to shake things up is to install modifications. Now, for me personally, these are always pretty light, something like the carpet mod, which enables movable tile entities, but for you, it could be a complete game-changing modification. Whatever tickles your fancy, really. But if you're still not feeling it, just remember, it's totally fine to take a break. You know, I personally did it. I took a break for 6 months away from Minecraft, and it has helped massively. I've come back more creatively inspired than ever. And even if you're not actively playing the game, remember you can continue watching the game, and then maybe one day that motivation will pick back up. But if it doesn't, then you can take the creative energy that you put into your Minecraft worlds and put it into something else. Be it art or photography or filmmaking, and you'll be very happy to hear that one day your motivation for these things will eventually fall. And pretty much all of the tips that I've mentioned in this video, apart from blowing it up, can actually be directly applied to any creative pursuit. So there we go. Hopefully you're now ridiculously motivated to start playing Minecraft. So motivated, in fact, that you've stopped watching this video and you're now playing Minecraft, which means I'm just talking to myself. It's just kind of weird.